The third and final award winner today is Bill Plaschke. Bill Plaschke is somebody I've known for 30, 35 years, somebody who uses words to write in not necessarily poetry, but in a beautiful way, the accomplishments of the great athletes. And some people call a writer like that a wordsmith. And those of you who have read Bill Plaschke for many, many years know the way he can write and the passion that he has. You can turn on television tonight, you can watch 50 different games. You can watch all sorts of different sports. And once in a while you'll get a little story behind the scenes on what the athlete went through or is going through. But most of the time you're watching a game and you're looking at a result. The way Bill writes, it's always a lot more than that. It's always into the soul of the athlete, into what the person is feeling, trying to accomplish, why they're trying to accomplish it, and some of the challenges they've had on their way to accomplishing it, or maybe not even accomplishing it. The college football teams in this area played a game the other day, USC and UCLA, and it kind of screwed up our day today. Because now Bill's not here today because he's covering Stanford and USC. And I'm going to tell you, when I talked to him the other day, because Diane, and I think you're going to see this video coming up here, when Diane and some of the players went to present him at the LA Times building, this award that he's receiving today, he wasn't really sure, like a lot of people, what this organization's all about, okay? And honestly, I had nothing to do with him getting the award. I mean, he took shots at me when I was a GM here, so he was the last guy, not the last guy, but one of the final. Only kid. But he called me after Diane and the Get Lit players had left, and he practically broke down into tears. And this is heartfelt. This isn't just me saying it and wondering if he did it. He stayed on the phone with me for probably 10 to 15 minutes, talking about the organization and how much it meant to him, and how shocked he was and how honored he was that they sought him out to present him with an award in the Poetry of Sports calendar year. So, are we ready for video, or want to? This is from, he's also on, besides writing for the Times, he also is on ESPN, the Around the Horn talk segment, where they've got 3 or 4 guys screaming at each other for half hour on a variety of topics. His nickname on the show is the Reverend, because he's kind of cool, calm, and collected, and only speaks when he needs to. But I think we have a video, because they were able to get these gentlemen to speak on behalf of their brother, Bill Plaschke.
You talked to your friends at Around the Horn, and they have a little video for you.
You did not.
Yes.
How did you get to them?
Because we're good.
How did you get to them? They never said a word to me. Are you kidding me?
No.
How did you find them?
Well, we have our ways.
I'm crying. I can't believe you did this. Thank you. Oh, I'm crying.
I'm crying. I thank people from around the Horn, my family around the Horn. You just don't realize, what I do. I just put words on paper. That's all I do. I tell stories. And I want to have a special thank you to Ned Coletti for connecting me with Get Lit, like I try to connect people all over the world. Ned has always been such a special person. He's so much more than a baseball person. He's a human race person. And I'm so thankful that he's now in LA. He's become an LA person. And he's an Angelino, and he's one of us. And he's no longer that brain whiz, that baseball whiz from San Francisco. He's an LA guy. And LA's lucky to have him. I hope we can keep him around here for many, many more years. Thank you very much, Ned. I want to thank everyone at Get Lit for this award. I mean, I am truly, truly touched that anybody would mention me with literature or lit or poetry or anything. And all I've tried to do for 30 years is just connect people. I try to use my words to go to sports events and to sports figures, and to use sports as a mirror on the human condition. And I just try to, I don't really write, I'm not really a sports writer. I'm a person who writes about people who play sports. That's all I do. And it's obviously what I've learned over the years is that it is, it's power. It can be very, very powerful, just the words. And that's what I would encourage any young person who watches this, who's, I'm so blessed. I'm so thankful for you guys for honoring me for this. Any young person watching this to realize that it's the most amazing thing. I'm living a miracle. I'm the luckiest man in the world. I'm able to go out and see my world, and I happen to see it at Dodger Stadium or Staples Center or the Rose Bowl, but you can see it through anywhere. And I see it, and I put it down just with my fingers in a keyboard, in a computer, and then I can make people laugh or cry or think or be mad or feel. And think about that. Anybody who wants to be a writer, anybody who wants to write poetry or literature or whatever the heck it is that I'm writing, everybody who wants to do that, there's such tremendous impact. You can influence and you can change your world just with your mind and your heart and your fingers on the keyboard. And that's it. You can change the world. All I had was my feeling, my desire to create, to connect the human condition, to connect people, to go see about my world and share it with people. That's all I did. And so I wrote, and I applied for 50 internships after my junior year in college, and I got one response, a small town in Michigan. I applied for 50 internships. My second year, my senior year, I got no responses. I was gonna go back to work at my dad's printing plant. And all I had was these stories, and nobody saw it, and nobody was gonna, and then I come home one day and my two roommates come out onto the balcony of my apartment, and it's middle of winter in Illinois, Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, middle of winter, and they're wearing their boxer shorts. And they've been clearly drinking, and they say, "Bill, somebody called, somebody called." I said, "Who called?" Said, "We forget." I'm like, "Oh no, you forget." I run inside, and on the back of a Cocoa Puffs box, they had written St. Petersburg Times. It's a big paper in St. Petersburg at the time, the best internship you could be. And it's like, somebody found me. Wow, somebody found me. How did somebody find me? They found me not because I was rich or connected or went to an Ivy League school. They found me just because I wrote. And that can be you, it can be anybody. That's all it takes. You don't need, it's so great, this thing about that we do as writers and storytellers and connectors of people is that it doesn't matter how rich you are or where you're from or your ethnicity or your race or your language or your any disability. You can do, if you can write and feel and think and want to share, you can do this. And God, think of the impact you can have. And I would never in a million years believe it was literature or poetry. I'm just telling stories, but there's such power to, and never ever forget that. And I've been reminded by this, and thank you to all the Get Lit people, and thank you to all the kids there, and thank you for this award, that it reminds you that telling stories is more than telling stories. Telling stories is changing your world. And thank you for reminding me of that. And I'm so honored to have this award, and it's going right at the top of my mantle. And I just can't tell you, thank you again.